Hi folks, Tim here with timsclass.com. Today we're going to cover pry bars, crowbars, we're going to cover knives. So let's start with the knives. Got several different types that we use in the construction industry. This is probably the most common. It's a retractable utility knife. You just push that button forward and the knife blade comes out, and it is razor sharp, so be very careful. Probably causes more injury than about anything on the job site. But it's retractable, which means you can pull the blade out. Anytime you want to use it, make sure you push it out, make sure it's locked, use it, put it back, put it in your tool pouch. Fairly simple and straightforward. This is a non-retractable knife. This blade does not come out, it's fixed. A lot of times you're going to use this in certain circumstances where you're going to have this in your hand all day long. Very dangerous knife, be careful with it. A carpet knife, you'll notice it's a little different. You got razor blade on both sides, okay? The blade is set so that if I need to cut this way or if I need to cut this way, I've got a blade both ways. Once again, a very dangerous knife, so be careful. That blade is fixed, and simple change. You got a little screw pin here, you just unscrew that. And the blade, this part comes apart. If I can get it. And you swap the blade in and out right here. Just set it in there. Usually keep a reservoir of blades right there. Put it back together, screw the pin back in, and you're ready to go. A typical carpet layer will go through hundreds of knives in a day, literally. They'll be swapping razor blades out just continuously. If you just hit one staple or one nail with that, that blade's no good. You gotta swap it out. Okay, we've got a folding utility knife. These happen to be my favorite. When you get done with it, you simply fold it up and you can lock it away similar to a pocket knife. The thing I like the most about these, and you can see right here, you can swap out the blades, different types. This particular blade, roofers use, and that's for cutting shingles. So I can hook up under the shingle and just pull back. You'll see all the razor part is in that hook. It's called a hook blade, but it's mainly for roofers. So all you do to swap that blade out is pull this back. This part swings down, and you swap out the blade, push that back, lock it back in place, and you're ready to go. And this is a folding one also. All right, our next one, if you ever clean windows, you'd probably use this knife. It's got just a regular razor blade there in the end, and it's perfect for scraping windows. Incidentally, if you ever scrape windows, make sure the surface has been wet down. You don't want to scrape it dry. You'll actually scratch the glass. So, same principle, push it out, use it, put it back in your pouch. Then you've got what I call a craft knife. This is the type of knife that after it gets a little dull, you get to that point and it gets dull, you just simply snap it off. So you snap off the blade and it pops off and you got more blades ready to go. So that's what this is all about, this particular blade. The safest, and I don't have here, is a self-retracting blade. It would be very similar to this, but I would have to actually hold it out, and the second I let go, the blade snaps back. That would be a self-retracting blade. That would be the safest there is. Okay, let's move over here to some crowbars. Incidentally, that's the little piece right there. We'll make sure we get rid of that. We've got several different types here. We're going to use some of these in some illustrations here in a second. But you've got right here, this is a 36 inch. This is actually referred to as a wrecking bar. And it does just that. It'll wreck anything that you want it to wreck. If you're going to do demolition and you don't care about tearing stuff up, this is the tool you want to use. This is a wrecking bar. A lot of people just call it a crowbar. So this can do some serious damage as far as demolition goes. Great tool. I built log homes for years and we couldn't get by without this. It's a great tool to help move the logs around also. All right, this is a flat bar. And we've got a mini version of the same thing. Trim carpenters use these quite a bit, and I'm going to illustrate that here in a minute. But These flat bars come in real handy during the construction process. Last one I want to cover, this is actually called a cat's paw. And you'll see it kind of looks like a cat's paw, which is the reason for the name. But this is a trim carpenter tool. You'll see over here, I put together this mock wall just to illustrate how you would use some of these tools. But I shot the baseboard and the quarter round down, and I purposefully left a nail out right there that's not in all the way so that I could illustrate how this would work. Okay, let me grab my hammer here. This tool is particularly good for pulling trim nails. If I can get it to go in there. Get it in there, try and get it behind the head of it. Once we get it out far enough, we can take this side. And I almost got it out that time, trying not to break the head of it off. But it looks like we did, we broke the head. Well, that's okay. I'm back after the epic fail where I was trying to show you how to use the cat's paw. Where'd it go? How to neatly and very carefully pull a trim nail, and I totally destroyed my base. Hey, welcome to construction. Accidents happen, things don't work like you planned. The difference between a good carpenter and a bad carpenter, a good carpenter can hide his mistakes. So, ran over, got some plastic wood, which is just basically wood filler. It goes on pink, but as you can see, it's already starting to dry here, and it'll turn brown. Once that sets up, I'll turn around and sand it. You'll never know that I messed up. So, good rule of thumb with the cat's paw, coming back to this, very difficult to pull gun nails, okay? If you're gonna try and use this to pull trim nails, make sure it's the hand drive type. Otherwise, you're probably gonna do some damage to your trim. All right, other thing right here, if you notice, this nail we shot and it hit another nail, which bent the nail. So once again, this is a situation where you're gonna use your nail punch that we talked about in the previous video. You're gonna put that on the nail. Tap that in. We're going to try and make this nail actually drive in. I got to get it behind to where it sinks in. Let me pop one more right there. All right, you can see how that did. So it's down in there. Now I would want to take some caulk and just dip a little bit on my finger. Rub that into the hole, and the nail hole disappears. And you do the same thing in all these other nail holes. A good trim carpenter is going to always come around behind himself and fill the nail holes. You want to make sure that one needs to be driven down a little further, but you want to make sure that you fill them all complete. Then you come back and sand off the areas that you messed up, make it perfect and ready for the painter to come behind you. All right, these pry bars. We talked about the cat's paw. We talked about the flat bars. What if I wanted to take this off my wall? Okay, these two tools are what you're looking at. Just be careful when you're doing this. Depends on what you're trying to do. My first step would be to take the quarter rounds off, okay? So I could either use my smaller pry bar, which is probably what I do, and I'd come over here Actually, let's back up. My first step is going to be to take my utility knife and see the caulk line. I would cut the caulk line all the way down. That way I know that the caulk is no longer holding the quarter round to the base. Now I'm going to take a small flat bar. Push it behind there. Then if it's still not coming loose real easy, all I gotta do is use my larger pry bar and pull that loose, okay? And I still have a usable piece of quarter round. I didn't tear it up. All right, now we wanna get the base off the back. It's very important when taking the base off that you find a stud. Once you found one stud, all you're gonna have to do is take your tape measure. These are 16 inches on center. So if I find this stud, all I gotta do is measure over 16 inches and I can find the center of the next stud. I do not want to come in here in the middle. I purposely left out the drywall so that you could see what was behind everything, but this would simulate drywall, what would happen in the middle. Let's say I tried to pull this out in the middle between. Watch what happens to my drywall. See how that bows in? More than likely, I would have just broke a big hole in my drywall. That's a no-no. So I gotta make sure and locate a stud. So I found my stud, now I'm gonna take my larger flat bar. Take that in, pull out. You don't wanna try and get it all out at once. You wanna go down to several. Got it loose up top. Now I want to try and pull the bottom. I know that the trim carpenter has nailed that in 2 places. And there you have it. So we've been able to keep our baseboard and our quarter round intact to reuse. When it comes to the trim nails, you don't want to try and pull these out. You're just simply going to take them and bend them back and forth like you would a coat hanger, and it'll snap right off. All right, and so forth. We could go through the whole piece and take it all off. All right, and that's it for my lesson for the day. I hope you guys got something out of it. Learn to use the tools. If you run into issues, learn to fix it. Have a great day.